now the last thing we're going to talk about today, the big game of the day. We had some college football on a Friday. It was actually quite nice. Notre Dame and North Carolina. Notre Dame pulls away late. They win 31-17 in a really close game. Ian Book looked like he was playing backyard football out there with a couple of really impressive scrambles and like flips and looking like there's a couple of plays that reminded me of like Patrick Mahomes, like no look passes. I don't want to say Ian Book is nowhere close to what Mahomes is in any way, shape, or form. His arm isn't big enough, and he hasn't been consistent enough remotely. But some of the plays he made today reminded me of some Mahomes improvisation. They went 31-17, Joe. Real quick before we go off air, just give me your takeaways. Also, I want to know what you think. Is Notre Dame gonna find its way into the playoff, or do you see them tripping up at some point?
No, I feel like Notre Dame's already, set in the playoffs. They have two more games left. It's
Yeah, and it's
Syracuse.
Syracuse and Wake.
Yeah, they're in it. Uh, if they beat Clemson again in the championship, then I think they're going to get the number one spot.
I agree.
Uh, so the question is, where are they going to end up now? 1 or 4, or 1, 2, 3, or 4? Yeah. But yeah, I think they're in it. I think I'm not going to say 100%, but I'm going to say, but it's definitely above 90, unless
Um,
they do trip up against Syracuse and Wake.
or if they get blown out by Clemson in the ACC Championship, like if they get the doors blown off them, then you might be having a discussion about a Florida if Florida beats Alabama. I mean, honestly, I think it's dependent a lot on what happens in other conferences, but I agree with you. I think it leans towards Notre Dame right now, especially after that win.
Yeah,
I'm not like I'm not gonna lie. Watching it, I wasn't super impressed. Ian Book had a decent night, 279 and a touchdown. I was more impressed, honestly, by Kyron Williams, 23 for 124 and two tutties. Especially late, he kind of carried them to the win. I think he ran for 70 yards on that last drive to run out the clock. Um, I don't see them tripping up against Syracuse or Wake. That's just me. Neither of those teams are particularly good. My take is if Clemson blows the doors off them, which I think with Trevor Lawrence back, they are more than capable of doing. Now, I don't want to disrespect Notre Dame. I think that will be a close game. I think Lawrence will pull it out ultimately. I will say that as long as they keep it tight, I think they will find their way into the playoff. The only real scenario I could see them missing out is if they were to get knocked out and then you watch Alabama lose to Florida. Or I guess they wouldn't lose to A&M because A&M's in the SEC West. So if they were to play Florida and lose, that's the only scenario I could see Notre Dame, a one-loss Notre Dame missing out.